podcast, fam? In today's mastermind session, we're talking about startup life with 4 of the area's great local startups. Episode 160 starts right now. You are listening to WHOA Podcast, coming to you from Gainesville, Florida. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the WHOA GNV Podcast, the podcast for you businesses and individuals that make you go, whoa!
You didn't see that coming.
That's great. I am your host, Collin Austin, and my co-host, friend, and amazing sponsor of this episode and several episodes is my man, Collin. What's up, brother?
My brother. No, we're doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Dude, I'm excited that you're here, man. Thanks for coming and co-hosting episode 160, man. Wow. We're doing a mastermind on startups. I'm psyched to get into it. But before we do, man, tell me what's going on, man. How are things over at Leonardo's Millhopper?
It's been great. You know, since we reopened the salad bar in June, it's full tilt. We're going right back. We're partying like it's 2019.
Yeah. When I was over there, I mean, it was full. Last time I was there, it was full.
Yeah.
And it was kind of nice to see it
almost
full
every
again.
night. It's been full tilt. Weekends, lines out the door. You know, it's a lot of fun.
Just kind of took a little bit to get around that curve. I mean, you guys got through COVID. We got through COVID. Yeah. I mean, was it like super, super difficult, or was it?
There were emotional challenges more than financial challenges. We have great customers. They've been super supportive the whole year for us. Our takeout business was great the whole time. We were really careful with all of our employees, you know, the way that we dealt with our customers. There were some challenges, you know, with people coming into the restaurant over the year, but you know, we made it through and we're all ready to go, and it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun for me to be table surfing again, and I'm trying to stay out of the kitchen, and they don't want me in there getting in the way.
Get out of the kitchen.
Go do what you do, and I just do my owner stuff in the dining room.
What does that mean? You just like walk around and shake hands, kiss babies,
this is what I do all night. Hey, great to see you again.
Let me get another drink.
Great to see you
sit
again.
over here and talk to the.
You know what's funny is that I can watch people eat all night. It doesn't make me hungry, but the first time I hear it, I'm like, I think I need a beer.
Cool, man. So how about any upcoming specials? Are you still like maintaining the specials? Because we've been promoting the hell out of Manicotti Monday.
Yes,
and all these.
Monday's killing.
Lasagna Tuesday, I hear, is the bomb. Is that still the bomb?
It's crazy. Tuesdays are honestly one of our busiest nights now.
Tuesday night.
Yeah, and then the weekends, Friday and Saturdays are crazy. So it's a lot of fun. We're doing an eating challenge now, and somebody did it today. 2 guys ate a large 3-topping, 2 orders of rolls, and a pitcher of beer. It took them exactly 40 minutes and 20 seconds. 20.
What? Oh, okay. So what's the challenge? They got to eat the whole thing?
Yeah, 2 people together. I'm gonna change it to 30 minutes because they did it in 40. So it's a new thing for us. So yeah, it's an eating challenge that we put on the menu. They were the first guys to tackle it, and they did it, and it's impressive and also disgusting.
So what did they get?
I gave them T-shirts, and I put a board up on the right next to the salad bar, so a picture of them up and
I have to come do that just so I can have my picture
that
up.
That would be awesome.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
Oh man, so when are we gonna do like an event? We need to do like a WHOA GNV networking awesome. Thing, or just have everybody come say, "Hey, audience, come out there. I'll be out there."
That'd be great.
We'll hand out some shirts, eat some pizza, drink some beer.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
When does this episode come out?
Yeah, we'll definitely have to make that happen. Okay. Because now that things are kind of normalizing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you said that. A lot of people, our regular customers, have told us that when Leonardo's opened the salad bar, that's when they knew everything was going to be okay. We're getting back to normal.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I'm excited to have you here,
you,
man. Thanks for coming.
I'm excited for all of our guests here. These are all really cool businesses we're going to talk about.
Yeah, you guys, these are always my favorite episodes. I mean, just always diving into this little roundtable session, a mastermind session is what we like to call it, and just diving into tonight, startup life. Got some awesome startups, and but before we get into that, I also want to tell everybody that we got some exciting news because the head ball coach is opening up Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And what was the date?
8/11, they said.
Okay, so August 11th It's happening. They are opening up Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, so make sure you guys check it out. I know that they have been super busy recruiting. I've actually admired how intentional they have been about this process of recruiting the best talent. They're trying to get up to like 300 team members.
Big
to
stuff.
run. And this place is huge. It's like the 9th largest restaurant in the state of Florida, so they need a lot of help. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be awesome, and I'm excited that they have announced the date that they're going to open. But I wanted to just give some love to those guys, give love to Coach. I'm also, I want to get in there and record a podcast with Coach Spurrier, because they have a podcast studio inside the restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah, which is so cool. So I can't wait for that to happen. That's definitely going to happen at some point. And but man, there's just so much amazing thing and so many amazing things happening over there. And I would just say, like, if you are interested on getting in that team, getting on that team, go to SpurriersDraft.com and apply for a position. That's SpurriersDraft.com. And they're already doing like a bunch of private events. I mean, this place is huge.
You've been to one, haven't you?
I have not been yet.
I haven't either. I have a lot of friends that have, and I'm like, what the?
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous, but I can't wait to get over there. I mean, Freddie's invited me, but it's been like, man, I've been on the ground. I've been on the ground. I've been on the ground floor over here with the scooter. I mean, if you watch my John Spence episode,
yes.
I've been on the ground floor, opening the door.
It's Back to the Future.
Yeah, 9:30 in the morning, locking up at 5:30 in the evening, and then doing all the business owner stuff before hours or after hours. So I haven't been getting out much, but anyway, much love to the team over at Spurrier's.
Yes,
Congratulations on getting that place open. I cannot wait to get over there and see it all. And if you're looking to get on that team, go to SpurriersDraft.com. And let's get into today's episode. I am so excited, you guys. Today on the show, we have Patty, Amber, Bryn, Jacob, and Isaac joining us to talk about their startups and startup life. So let's go around the room and let them give us a more formal introduction. You guys, we'll start with the ladies on this side first. Let's go around and, introduce yourself and introduce your business, please.
Well, first of all, thank you for calling me a lady. That does not happen much.
Because we are no ladies.
I'm Patty Carniccio of Patty Can Gypsy Wagons.
I'm Amber.
Oh, wait, episode 160.
This is episode 160. Good job.
I'm Amber Waters of Patty Can Gypsy Wagons, and her partner on probably too many levels.
And I'm Daniel Isaacs of Jamrock Junk Removal in Gainesville, Florida. I'm new to this, so it's the first time.
Yeah, baby.
I might need that one more shot.
This is the first. Is this the first podcast for everybody?
One I've ever done. Yeah.
Okay. No. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll come a close second, I'm sure. All right.
Top 2, easy.
Well, this makes it to the air.
Yeah. It'll get there, I'm sure.
I'm Bren Strickland of Plant Stay, Gainesville's indoor houseplant shop.
Awesome.
I'm Jacob Hogel, Dayton Heating and Air here in Gainesville. I'm just happy to be here. First time podcaster.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There we go.
Happy you're here too.
Awesome, man. So let's go around. So this is what I would like to do. I'd like for you to introduce your business. When do you let's just hit the basic stuff, right? Like, when did you start the business? Why did you start the business? What brought you to Gainesville in the area? And maybe how old your company is. So because this is a startup episode, like, are you 6 months old or are you 4 years old? You know, let's dive into that a little bit. So like, Jacob, I'll let you start.
Oh, okay. I started Dayton Heating and Air 4 years ago. As far as Gainesville, I was born and raised here.
A little closer. There you go. There you go.
First time podcaster. So
you're doing great.
Born and raised here.
You're doing great.
I saw kind of a niche in the market. You know, you got a lot of small AC companies providing like quality service for fair prices, but then I always hear like they won't answer the phone. And then you got these other big companies with a focus on customer service who aren't providing a quality service, you know, or are charging too much. So I saw that niche. I decided to start Dayton Heating and Air. We focus on quality service, but we also answer the phone, which is, you know, a surprising thing. So we're 4 years in and growing. So
Awesome.
Awesome. That's so cool.
So we started Plant Stay a few years ago. We bought a new house that had great lighting, so I got super into houseplants, and I realized there was nowhere that you can go and ask questions and find out, will this plant do well in my house, or is this a good one for me? So that was the business I wanted to start. We opened our brick and mortar mid-pandemic. We opened in September, and that's us.
I mean, starting a business mid-pandemic, was this like a really good idea?
It was planned to do before the pandemic, and the
Okay.
pandemic hit just like 2 weeks before we had our first large event. So we already had a ton of plants, and we had to keep going.
There's like no stopping it.
That's right.
There's no plan B.
No plan B, just keep going.
No, that's like how I started.
Okay.
So I wanted to get out of my job and find something else. Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to get out of my job, like the everyday job. It was a good job. I just wanted to do something else, and so I started looking for different stuff to do.
What were you doing?
I was working at a warehouse, pretty much like inbound receiving,
Okay.
and it just got monotonous. And so I found something in junk removal. I was actually just looked at like different industries, and I needed something that I could quit my job and still be able to like provide for my family and, you know, cross all the T's and dot all the I's. So I found that, and I started right before the pandemic hit. And then it's like, okay, everything shut down. Okay, I just quit my good job. So, but, you know, I always told myself, like, I haven't been like a bad worker or anything like that. So I was like, you know, I left the right way. And if I needed to, I'd been working there for about 8.5 years. So I knew I could go back. So I was like, let's see how it goes. And turns out I didn't even have to look back. So that's pretty much
Did you
how-
have the moment though? Like, I
think
can't
I did.
believe I just let go of this
I
job
did,
right in.
But my
like, right-
wife, she was like, look, we've been talking about this. You've been planning on it. You've been saving on it. Just go ahead and see what happens. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
dude.
That's so cool.
So I just went ahead and did it, and it all worked out.
That's awesome.
And like it actually took off because like I'd have crazy calls like, "Hey man, I'm sitting at home. I'm doing this renovating. I'm doing something. I'm updating my kitchen. I need this stuff hauled off." I was like, I'm there. I'm doing it. You know. So it really did work out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
feel like most people's like wives would have been like, going back to work.
Get a job. Yeah, totally.
Get
No, that's
back
awesome.
to work.
No,
know,
No
she's-
startup life for you.
She's
my
really
friend.
awesome with that kind of stuff. So, but
Oh,
she
that's
knows
awesome,
I'm not
man.
gonna be like, I just quit. I'm gonna sit on my tail and not do nothing. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right?
it definitely
Dan,
worked out.
Yeah, Dan, no, you've had other guests on that have had similar stories where we weren't quite sure, and then just all of us have been so fortunate to have a partner who says, you had this dream, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
And I support you, and I know that we're going to go. It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a huge piece.
It is.
I mean,
Yeah.
we can always dive into more of that
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
but like,
That-
I mean, that's a huge piece because, you know, I always tell a lot of people one of the reasons that I've been able to do what I've been able to do so long is because of my wife,
Yeah,
and
100%.
and I'm not so sure it would be so smooth if we hadn't. I mean, I'll just say it. The truth is, like, I started the business before we were married. Like, she was my girlfriend at the time. You know what I mean? And it's like, so this is all she's ever known.
Right.
I don't know if it would be as easy if I was just like, you know, working a full-time job and now, hey, man, I know there's a pandemic about to happen, but like, I'm gonna like quit.
I didn't know that part.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
But I did know, like, I had a support system, and we'd make it work one way or another. So
That's awesome. That's a cool story.
That's awesome. Yeah, very cool.
So I'm Patty, and on the day before my 60th birthday, Andrew Bennett of Checker Trailers called and said, "Hey, I'm closing my gypsy wagon business. You want to take over?" And the reason why he called me was because about 5 years prior, he built a teardrop camper for us. And every year I'd go down and say, "Hey, Andrew, I want to do this or that. Show me how to do it. I want to do it." And then when he decided he was going into the tiny house business and he was going to close his doors, he called and he said, "Hey, man, you and Amber would be great." And here is Amber 3 years later, and we're making it work, even with the pandemic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys had it for?
Well, we started the year before the pandemic, January of that year, we started, and in our business, you have to go to trade shows. We were guided to go.
So, Patty, I'm sorry, was that January of 19 or January 20?
January 19.
19, okay.
Right, 1903. To be.
It feels like that. Here we are, 100 years later.
Feel like 100 years old.
So anyway, so that first year, and how we started the business, he said, Andrew said, Patty, you want to do it? And it was built on regrets, because I said to Amber, if I don't do it, I'm going to regret it.
No, I think I said that to you.
If you don't do this, you're gonna regret it.
There may be some truth to that. So we went with no regrets
Yeah, no regrets.
and jumped in.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, she has a
Yeah.
long history of working for the state of Florida and having, a sure thing job with benefits and all of that.
Right.
I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my entire career of doing hair. So for me,
How long did you do that for?
well, I still do it.
Okay.
So I've been doing hair for 36 years. And I own.
In what capacity? Like you have your own salon?
Well,
it's on
I
the
have
side,
my own
out of your garage,
salon.
like what?
Yeah, I have my own salon here in town for 23 years, the Tees, and the pandemic killed it with like a sledgehammer and some knives, and it came in with like an acid wash, and just
in
like
case.
it was a stain on the floor, and I'm not bitter, I just knew that this was going to be an opportunity for her after years of learning fine woodworking with a mentor to put some of those skills to work. I knew I loved my teardrop, but I didn't really know a lot about Andrew's gypsy wagons. And I knew it was going to be a wonderful outlet. And between the two of us, she's got mad, number skills. And I have mad color skills. And I was the hair and wig designer at the Hippodrome for 16 years. So I
Cool.
just in costume design, and I've done stuff like that. So all that weird kind of goulash of stuff that I've always done, that's include costume building and design and drag queens outfits and this and that and the other. And then her being able to use her woodworking skills, it really was the perfect fit for us. And at the time, she had started a handyman business to segue out of her state job into her retirement job. She has spent years saying I'm retired, and I'm like, I don't know on what planet this is retired. I just don't.
I'm retired too.
Whatever. Whatever. It's a lie. It's all a lie. And so we're in it 2 years now, and we've actually lived through the pandemic and made it through for the most part.
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, because I know that there's a grand portion of our listening audience wondering what the hell is a gypsy wagon?
Okay. Do you want to tell that?
Right, so do you want to tell,
ahead.
kind of explain? I mean, everybody's gonna have to go check it out, go look on Instagram, right, and that kind of thing.
Right.
But if you can explain what it is, and how high is the demand for something like this? That's what I'm curious of.
There's the demand's high, the follow through's not high. So people love the idea of it. It is. When you've watched the stereotypical old movies where the old gypsy's in the wagon that's got the bow top on it and it's being pulled by horses and it's very elaborate and all this stuff, that's a gypsy wagon. And we build our Vardo style. That's with the bow top on top. And it can be used as a camper. Most of them are. People live in them. Some people use them as vendor wagons. We can build vendor wagons, and we have.
Can you throw some dimensions at me really quick? How big is this thing?
Go ahead.
It can fit into a box that's 8 by 8.
Here.
We have a trailer custom build, so you could take it on the road. So it's less than 8 feet tall, and it's less than 8 feet wide at its widest. It has an arc. It has a bow top. So it's street legal, and it can weigh as little as 1,500 pounds.
Okay.
It just depends on what you want to put in it.
It's room for just 2 people to sleep in, right? Just a
Depending
little.
on how it's built. What
We can do different lengths, and you can make it as a camper. We sleep in it, and it has a galley and it has a dressing area. We built one that had a cat run for 3 cats, and all around this litter box called the robot litter, and it also had a costume and makeup design section and a kitchen, and it was 10 feet long.
Wow.
Because our guy Kevin loves geometry.
Okay.
So, that,
No, we're struggling.
First and foremost, you must hire someone who likes geometry. That is like the key to everything. Show over.
I would not be a perfect gypsy wagon breaker then.
it's a way to put redundancy and creativity into one thing.
Yeah.
Because
Definitely.
the shell is the same. We get some lumber from Italy, and we build the shell out of that because of the weight of the lumber to make it. Anyway, but then she makes it beautiful. She meets with the client, says, "What do you want?" And then Kevin goes into his little space and lays it out and makes it fit.
Cool.
Yeah. It is probably. It's one of the funnest ways I have had in my life to express myself creatively.
That's so cool.
The most recent wagon we did, which I need to get online. I don't know. There's some stuff on Instagram. There's some stuff on Facebook. But they do a lot of Renaissance fairs, medieval fairs, that sort of thing.
Right.
And so they wanted wheel covers like you put on an RV when you're parked to keep your wheels covered. And I painted them to look like wagon wheels, traditional gypsy wagon wheels with all the stenciling and all that stuff, or pinstriping, that's what I meant to say. And that was super fun. And along the way, I just kind of keep learning stuff. We've got a wagon right now that we didn't build. Andrew built it, the guy that we got the business
Yeah.
from. But we came in and she asked us to do all the outside painting on it. So that was the most fun. It's crazy. It looks like, it looks like I dropped acid and then painted a wagon.
Because you did.
Dude,
anyways.
it's
It was crunch time.
It's good.
It's super fascinating. So, one of the things that you had said was that, your hair business, right, got killed by COVID. So, let's go around really quick and just talk about like how COVID impacted your business, because this is something that's been just obviously, one of the things that nobody could ever have planned for. It was just detrimental to many businesses, and then we hear about businesses that kind of blossomed and started
Right. When
amidst
you
it.
said that, I want to talk to Brent first.
Yeah. So like, Bryn, let's start with you. Let's dive into that, because I would love to hear just kind of the COVID impact. And
So for the plant industry and for us, the timing was really fantastic. Like, it made us be able to open much faster. So plants were already trending. People were getting super into house plants. But when COVID hit, like, nurseries are one of the things that could stay open. People were home. They needed something to do. So plant collecting, like, absolutely exploded. So we started.
Real quick, there's so much truth to that, because
So great.
I don't know. You remember when I was doing the coronavirus sessions?
Yes. Yeah.
I was sitting on my back porch because we started doing the podcast via Zoom because nobody was going to meet in person like this, right? So we started doing it via Zoom. I'm sitting on the back porch and we're doing these like little 30-minute coronavirus sessions. I'm just kind of checking in with businesses, saying how they have weathered COVID and like what's the impact, like all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm on my laptop doing these, and like right there is like my yard, which is just an absolute disaster. And I'm like, man, like we don't take care of our yard at all. And I think like the next week, like I spent like $700 to have like the whole thing like cleaned up. So there's so much truth to that, because everybody was stuck at home. They're like, man, if I'm gonna be stuck at home, I got to like fix all this
Totally right.
stuff,
Yeah.
right?
What we did was we didn't go quite as crazy as you and spend $700.
That's good.
But we got 4 chickens in city limits, and we got all of our square foot gardening going. So now we have a farm.
Same thing. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to talk to Brent about is how great your social media is. So you're approaching 5,000 followers on Instagram now. Every post you make gets huge response on. Talk a little bit about like how you've built that community around your business socially and how much it's helped, build your business.
Especially for a business that's so new.
So she's so good at it.
Instagram is interesting because I had never used Instagram before having this business. So it wasn't a platform I was familiar with. But I think for us, it's first of all where our customers are.
Right.
So it's a lot easier to find those people.
You're so good at it, by the way.
So my background is 20 years in marketing before this.
No
so
way.
I think that contributes quite a bit.
Got a handicapper.
And what were you doing? What was your previous
So
background?
I worked in marketing for large companies. I worked for a division of PepsiCo, but my sweet spot was small business marketing. So being kind of the one-person marketing department doing that sort of broadband of everything that's needed in marketing.
So what's it like just kind of doing your own thing now and marketing your own business now? Like, is that, I got to imagine it's super rewarding, but I mean, where's your mindset as you kind of head into, the rest of 2021?
Sure. I think at this point, because when our business started, I don't know what the typical first business year is like, but I think ours is probably a little bit above that sort of typical trajectory. So right now it's kind of surreal of, we did this, we built it, we had this idea and it was good. So that's sort of where we are right now.
Do you have the mindset of I know what the hell I'm doing, or do you have the mindset of what the hell am I doing?
I have a ton of confidence in my plant skills, my customer service skills, and my marketing.
Okay.
So that part of it I've got.
That's awesome. So something that you and I have talked about before is the difference between riding a roller coaster and riding a train.
Sure.
So how are you doing with that? How's your life?
We are adapting. One of the things that's been, we joined a mastermind group that's just brick and mortar shop owners, small shop owners, and having that,
Is that local or not?
It's national, so non-competing markets. And so having people who are doing this every day and know sort of those ups and downs, and maybe July is going to be different because we're in a college town, and so having that group to talk to, I think
that's super valuable. So how did you find that?
Good.
a lot of Googling. It was so hard to find, just finding.
Were you physically searching
I was
brick and mortar small business mastermind groups?
Exactly.
Because you were this is what I need.
I was searching that for a long time. I found one that seemed to be the right thing, and they only took new members twice a year, so we had to wait.
And there's a cost involved?
There's a cost involved.
What's the cost?
I think. So we pay $90 a month for the membership in that.
And you meet once a month? How often?
So there's different parts of it. We do mastermind classes. There's a couple of those a month, and that could be something on mindset, or it could be on creating retail displays, just different things. And then we do group calls a couple of times a month via Zoom. And then as you find the businesses that are more similar to you, or you're serving the same types of customers, and those side relationships become real valuable too.
Yeah.
And then we meet in person once a year.
That's cool.
Cool. What are the other towns that you've had similar businesses from?
The other similar businesses? So there's another plant shop, which is fantastic.
Right. What town, Brent?
Oh, what town?
Yeah.
Are the other businesses in?
Yeah.
Oh, they're all across the country.
What? The one in specific.
Oh, in Massachusetts,
Okay.
Worcester, Massachusetts. Sorry.
That's cool. All right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of mastermind groups. One of the things that I've told this story a couple times, I'm sure, but I used to have that Chamber of Commerce sticker on my door.
Yeah.
It was area chamber member, right? And I walked into my own business one day, passing this decal, and I was like, I'm not really sure what I'm paying for, or I'm paying for this membership, but I'm not using it, right?
Sure.
And so I reached out to the chamber, and I was like, hey, I'm using this, or I have this decal, and I pay you guys, but I'm not sure why. I'm not really involved. How do I get more involved? And Stacy actually reached out to me from the chamber, and she was like, hey, let me come out to your business. She sat down with me, and she talked to me about doing something exactly like that. It was can I have you facilitate this little mastermind group? This is something that we're working on. And I started doing that, and it was the most valuable thing that I had ever been a part of, to the point where, even in recent years, I've helped the chamber put together other mastermind groups. And I can't express that enough. Whether it's like reaching out, Googling and finding the right one, or getting involved locally, just sitting down in little groups like this and hashing out aspects of business, challenges, employee struggles, cash flow struggles, all the stuff that we deal with that we're kind of afraid to even talk about, right? Like,
yeah, totally.
I spilled my guts on the John Spence episode, right? I'm like, hey, man, there's times where
go back one episode and watch what happened.
Man, there's times where you just reach those moments, but like mastermind groups will really kind of pull you through that, right?
I think it gives you somewhere to be accountable. Like I've always worked with teams and I do great in that environment, but then when you're on your own, like who do I check in with? Like, is this sound right? And if you find the right mastermind group where you can even like look at financials, even if it's just percentages, and see is this looking good?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Is anybody else in a part of a mastermind group at all?
No, not currently.
No? I was just curious. Yeah, super beneficial.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Going back to you were starting this business and you had all these plants. What kind of labor is involved in what you're doing?
Sure. So our original plan was to grow all of our own plants, and we discovered right after our first pop-up that there's no way we could grow the volume of plants that we needed. So most of our plants we partner and purchase plants. We grow more of the rare and hard-to-find plants. That's what we focused on, actually growing.
And how much labor is involved?
In the growing of the plants?
Nope. In your part of the business?
In our part of the business. So we weekly pick up all our plants in person. So that's probably a 15-hour day to do that portion of it.
When you say we, can you give that a number?
There are 2 people who take care of that. Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you have a physical store. Where is the store at?
We have a brick and mortar store. It is across the street from Ballyhoo in the same plaza where Ace Hardware is.
Okay.
That is where we're located. So everyone who's here, can you visualize that location?
Yeah, I'm trying.
It took a lot of trying to like find the right landmarks that would like make sure people knew where we are.
Hogtown Brewers is right there too, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Sorry for exposing myself.
So Jacob, talk to me about like COVID impact for you guys.
Yeah, so COVID, if anything, probably helped us. I mean, honestly, people love being inside. They love their plants. They like to make it look like they're outside, but they don't want it to feel like they're outside. So everybody being at home 24/7 really upped the need for good air conditioning. I mean, really, normally people get home, and by that point, maybe the AC's cooled off a little bit, but they're just home every day. So, I mean, we saw increased demand. The biggest issue we've had with COVID would be supply, increased cost of equipment.
Right.
I mean, we're seeing just record increases on pricing. And then, of course, supply issues. I mean, just physically being able to get air conditioners is tough. It makes it hard on a sales standpoint. Normally, we can do like a good, better, best option, and then I can get it for you, whatever you want. At this point, it's kind of like I can get it for you today. If you want to take your time and wait, maybe not tomorrow. Like it's so we're still dealing with that. The supply chain is super messed up.
But at least you're able to get them.
Most of the time.
Okay.
We did. I mean, we sold a unit in March. I contacted the supplier. They were 3 months out.
Yeah.
ACs typically go in within a week. If somebody's AC is broke, they're not waiting 3 months.
Right.
So we are able to get some, but not everything.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, that's been the biggest struggle. But as far as AC demand, it's up. I mean, I know restaurants and that sort of thing have been struggling or struggled last year, but we didn't see that.
Awesome. I want to talk to you about labor demand, because we talked a little bit earlier about people answering calls and not answering calls, and not being able to meet the demand of the market that's out there. Putting supply issues aside, talk to me about like your ability to find good employees and people with the skills, that because I'm a big fan of trades, and if I one of the things we talk about, if I could go back 20 years, like if I could change something, I'd learn how to be an HVAC.
Yeah, I mean, we can make it happen.
You want to buy a restaurant?
Training available.
We can trade tomorrow. But no, I'm a big fan of all the trade companies that we use. I'm a big fan of all theirs. They all do a great job. They're all really family oriented. They're great values. You know, the companies that we do business with, I'm big fans of all of them. I've looked at your company. I'm a big fan of yours. So talk to me about finding labor, and then also I've noticed too, and it's your story too, about how family impacts getting into the business.
Yeah, I mean, so as far as finding labor, it is super tough.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure in the restaurant industry it is as well.
We all have our issues.
Yeah, I mean, but it turns out air conditioning is hard work. This stuff's heavy.
Right.
Attics are hot. I mean,
I had somebody call the shop today and say, "Hey, are you guys hiring?" I'm like, "Yes, we're hiring.
You're hired.
I'm texting you the application right now."
yeah, and it's tough. I mean, it's tough in every industry. But like I said, AC, especially this time of year, it is hot. I mean, those attics are hot. Crawl
Sure.
spaces are hot. It's dirty. It's tough to find people that want to go down that road.
Yeah.
You know, we've hired a few apprentices that pretty quickly figured out that they don't want to do this.
Wasn't for them.
And then, so the select few that make it through the apprenticeship and end up a technician, I mean, they are valuable. They are tough to come by.
Right. Do you think there are macro things that we could do, not just you personally, but all of us as a whole? Like what things that can we do to make those kind of careers more attractive?
I mean, with the supply shortage of employees, I think that is just naturally driving the wages up.
Right.
You know, and the benefits up and
Sure.
incentives up, and I think that will attract more people.
I mean, to me, they've always been attractive. Wages wise, always been attractive to me. And
They've gone up substantially in the last few years.
It's so great.
I mean, you know, the average technician is going to make more than the average person with a bachelor's degree.
100%.
They're going to work harder, more physically anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think.
But I mean, honestly, it's you're out there using your body, you're physical. It's still problem solving. It's a lot of technical knowledge that your employees have to have, whether it's HVAC, electric, plumbing, all of those trades. There's so much technical knowledge involved, so much problem solving, and like you're saying, the pay is great.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So there's got to be things at the macro level that we can do, you know, for all of us to make those jobs more attractive. We just got to figure out what it is.
Yeah, I think over time it's going to resolve itself. I mean, honestly, with the, you know, I mean, when I was growing up, you watched a TV show, and if somebody was a plumber, that was almost looked down upon.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think culturally, that's what kids grew up seeing, and they thought, I need to go to college.
I think that's looked down
but-
upon. Think about being a trash guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll get to you, bro.
They're like, yeah,
We'll get to you,
You're
bro.
next, Daniel.
Well, maybe I don't have it that bad.
no.
Maybe I don't have it that bad, but I think culturally, I think there's going to be a shift. I think one day, you know, when an accountant calls a plumber and the plumber makes more than him,
Right.
maybe
Yeah, right.
we'll think a little differently.
Yeah. No, I've always been a big fan of trades, and yeah, there's so many positive things about those careers. I wish there was something that we could do, you know, as a group, as a society, to make, because those jobs are so important. Like I couldn't do what I do, you know, if I didn't have air conditioning, if I didn't have a gas guy, if I didn't have a plumber, you know, if I didn't have an electrician. All those things, they're so important, and none of us could
Preach it,
do what we
brother.
do without those guys to.
Don't forget your podcast guy.
Yeah, right.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Dude,
Without
not
the-
only
without
that, but
electricity.
I mean, you're talking scooter mechanics, man. Like,
Yeah, right.
I literally made a post on Facebook like, I need mechanics. Like, that's all I said. I need mechanics.
Yeah.
Message me.
Can I tell you what? I have the same problem. Okay. And prior to this, I even went to my contacts with the school board, local politicians. I wanted to hook up when I had a handyman business after I did 35 years of public health. And I started a handyman business, and my clients were elderly people and professional women, and they hired me because of trust. Okay? Big factor. So I couldn't find people that I was willing to bring into my clients' homes. I went, and then I have so many skills. I'm college educated, but I am blue collar by nature. Okay? And I tried to reach out with the school board, with prior politicians, well, no longer in office politicians, and said, give me the high school kids.
Yeah.
Reinstate that program, and I can teach them trades because they're never going to go to college. And I couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
Are they even
And to
doing that
this
anymore?
day-
Like shop
No.
class? They don't do like shop
No.
class anymore.
And to this day, I can't get people. And I tell people, I don't want you to know anything when you come work for me. Because I know what I teach you is what I want you to do. And I know you're going to do it safely.
Right? Jake, you told him the same thing.
And I can't get them.
Yeah,
I can't
come
get
to
them.
nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough. And from an education standpoint, I mean, trades are so attractive. I mean, people go into college for 4 years and come out with who knows how much student loan debt.
Sure.
We have an apprenticeship program here at Santa Fe College. We're
Right.
signed up. We can put them through it.
Right.
I mean, you start out first year, you're going to work for an AC company. You're not going to have any student loan debt. You're going to make money for 4
a great
years.
program.
And you can come out, like I said, making more money than the average person with a bachelor's
Hold on,
degree.
explain that real quick. You say that you're putting them through that?
Yes, so companies can get signed up with Santa Fe College to where you can sponsor apprentices. So they work for you.
And so you're paying for it?
Correct. It's subsidized. We don't pay a lot, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we basically put them through school. They're required for the 4-year program to be working for an HVAC company. There's also a plumbing and electrical apprenticeship, but great program. It's night school, so they have a 1-year program for HVAC, or they can do the 4-year where they work their way through school. So they're making money. We're paying for them to go to school, and then when they get out, they make more money. I mean, it's a great program.
It's a great program.
It's awesome.
Yep.
So, let's just jump over to Daniel, because, you're in this labor field as well, right?
My story is actually like the opposite.
The opposite. Oh, this is great. I love when things are the opposite.
So, I don't have like this big team of guys, but it's like they just come. Like I literally had like 1 week since I've ever started that I didn't have any help. So I had one short week, and it really wasn't even a full week where I didn't have help when I needed it. But like since then, it's been like guys have been like readily available, and maybe it's because like I've been able to find groups that were like friends, and they were like, "Hey man, I need a good job," and he's like, "Well, if you come to work, he'll put you on," and like they come to work and they do whatever's needed, but it's also not like you don't have to go to school for it. You know what I mean? It's
Gotcha.
not super hard. You're going to get paid well, and all you really have to
So
do
is that
go to
why?
work.
Is that why you haven't had trouble? Is
Could be.
because you're
it
just
very
paying
well
well?
could be. And I mean, I like to think that the culture there, like for us, like I want to have a culture where everybody's like excited to work and I guess jives together.
You can do that with hauling junk?
Yeah. I think you probably
that was so
should
Scooter.
try to do that. Yeah, because I mean, it's one of those jobs where it's like,
Come on, guys.
you're moving the
haul some
mattress.
junk today.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So you get like a mattress,
my old
and then
refrigerator.
you get like a job that's like gross filth, or it's like it's ridiculous, or like a hoarder house or something. And a lot of people are not going to be like, "Let's do that." They're
Let's
not gonna be
go.
like, "Hey, man, that I think that's been sitting there for like 6 months," and like, no, it's actually 9, but let's go tackle it. They're not gonna be like, "Let's do it."
Right.
But no, my guys really have a good attitude about what we're doing, and they'll roll their sleeves up and get in there. And when we get clean jobs that are relatively easy, we do them, and then when we get dirty, nasty jobs, we get in there and do them, and just can't wait for that shower to come. You know what I mean?
So,
I mean, even if you have like the suit, you almost always still feel like icky. Like it's just.
oh yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
There's some satisfaction to that. I mean, right? Like I think even where I'm at with the scooter dealership, right? Like I have been back on the ground floor, opening the business, working the business all day long, closing up at the end of the day. And there's times where I'm like, dripping in sweat, hard work out here in the warehouse, that kind of stuff. And of course, my guys are going to hear this and like, what are you talking about? You're in the AC all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. No, there's times where I get sweaty too, guys. But like, there is still that satisfaction that
There
kind of
is.
comes,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Like with a day's hard work,
Yeah.
you're just like, man, like
Yeah.
that was a good day, even though you worked your tail off and you go home and you just crash. There's just there's just that satisfaction that comes with that, I think.
Dan, my question is it a consistent staff that you got? It's the same?
Yeah, I've got this. I've had the same 3 guys for probably the last 6 months.
Okay.
Prior to that, it was just me and a good buddy of mine.
Right.
And he still pops in from time to time. He actually has not a full-time job, part-time job at another facility. So he works at night there, and then he'd work with me during the day.
So it's a bunch of hustlers.
Yeah. I mean, they want to
solid.
get.
That's good.
They're definitely in it to
bunch
win.
of hungry dudes.
Yeah. So
awesome.
I mean, it's really worked out, and I really haven't had to do very much searching. Now I'm also like very quick to be like, you're not cutting it, you're gone.
Right.
So I've had like 2 or 3 of those guys.
Sure.
But really and truly, like, it's really been good.
Awesome. Tell me the craziest thing you've ever cleaned up.
The craziest thing?
Either dirtiest, craziest. Tell us a good story.
No, I can't do that.
Now that you said that, you have to.
It's like the scooter guy one time had me come over.
Yeah.
But,
Pallets.
I can tell you where there is a secret box in one specific gypsy wagon. If you want to ever trade secrets, I have a couple.
No, I actually really don't have very, very bad jobs. You get like the job.
Hold on, you just mentioned putting a hazmat suit on.
But I mean, it's kind of like you put it on for like a just in case. But there's never been like anybody like,
Just in case.
oh man, I put my hand in that toilet.
Have you
by
turned
accident.
down any jobs from being too?
That's a good
Oh
question.
no, I don't.
that's a great
no,
question.
one of my guys was like, you can say no. And I was like, no, that's the only time you're gonna hear it. No.
Right.
So no, I will turn down a job if it's something out of my scope that I can't do.
Right, I understand.
Like
Okay.
legally, like if somebody like I'll do a small shed removal because I do like small demo. But somebody would be like, I want this whole building demolished. I'm like,
I thought you were going to say
if
meth.
I got to get
thought you were
something
gonna say
from
meth
the
lab.
city to do it, I'm like, no, I can't do it.
You're like, no problem. That'll be $100,000.
Right.
I got you.
No, but there's not much that I say no to. But I mean, when you guys think of junk, what are you guys thinking of? You're thinking about like
Think about my garage.
your garage.
And the fact that you're gonna
or
have to
just
come and
extra
clean it
stuff
out.
sitting
Like I
bro,
said.
Yeah.
In the corner.
My wife and I have already talked about it. We got a 4-year-old refrigerator
See there?
in the garage.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I mean, you might have a dust attack every now and then, but
Right.
Have you ever taken anybody's junk and sold it?
yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean it's very rare, to be honest with you. A lot of people are like their stuff is like very prized to them. And so you'll come to get it. Like they obviously want to get rid of it, but they want it to go somewhere else. But it's like it is trashed. And so you're like, I kind of know nobody else is going to want it. And even if somebody, like, say somebody told me, like, hey, I'm looking for a couch, man. So if you come across one, let me know.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's like, okay, I got
Good
you.
opportunity.
And then I come across this couch and I bring it to him and he's like, yo, it's not really my style.
He's like, I thought we
Beggars
were.
can't be choosers, baby. Come on.
It's like, Daniel,
So it's like, hey, let me know about the next one. I was like, sure thing, So you
That's
just
fun.
kind of keep it on. But
He's like,
it's
I thought we were friends, bro.
Let me talk to you about you have a crew.
right.
I have, Amber, Kevin, and I, our business partner, we have one guy. And I can't get anybody because I don't know how to say this,
Yeah, you do.
but trust.
Just say it.
Trust.
Spit it out there.
Yeah.
Trust, because we're so small. And if you take my tools,
Right.
Yeah.
you take
that-
everything.
Right. Yeah.
And when I started my business, when Amber said you better start the business, I promised myself I would not go in debt, and I wouldn't take anybody's money.
Right.
Okay, and we survived that first year. We kicked ass and stayed employed through COVID because we had a queue. But when I want more people, I don't trust them. Not just with my stuff, but when I go and I take some clients from my handyman business and I go into people's houses,
Right.
Yeah.
I have to trust them. So how do you trust your people? How do you know who your 3 guys are that you know you can go? Because other people's junk is connected to their stuff that's not
Right,
junk.
Right. So, I mean, I just try to do the best judgment with my guys. I mean, if you're not able to be trusted, then I'm not usually going to have you around. Like, I recently actually got forced into having them do jobs on their own because I was supposed to be back in town and I wasn't, because I'm still very much like in the day-to-day. So, like, I'll pick up the phone and then I'll show up to you to the job to get that junk cleaned up.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like, long story short, I got stuck and I pretty much was like, guys, I'm gonna send you the jobs and keep you updated and you'll make the runs for me. And I've had nothing but great reviews on them while we were out of town. So I mean, it really just worked out, and I was just like, I'm lucky. Like, that's why everybody's like, it's good help's hard to find. And I'm like, I've got another guy right now that is literally waiting for me to hire him.
Okay, so
Send them to Patty.
send him to Patty. And if he doesn't know how to do a fraction, I will teach him and I will pay him to learn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I think-
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
In these trades, we're paying people to teach them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we're trusting them.
I think a lot of times when it comes to trust is that you just have to trust until they break it first
Well, I
for
think
whatever
that's
reason.
it.
It's like
I think-
you have to
yeah.
just kind of give it and just be like, you know, like I trust you.
Yeah.
Like straight out the get, I trust you.
Yeah, you're just
and
stepping-
then
you're
if they
stepping out
if they
into
mess it
midair.
up, they
Yeah.
they do something wrong. They do something to break your trust, then
Yeah.
you know that's different.
Yeah, I left
but-
them with all my tools and everything. Funny thing is, I left them with all my tools or access to all of them just in case they need them for whatever the case is. You know, everything was still there when I got back or whatever. Before that, a couple months back, I bought a brand new chainsaw and got it stolen out of my truck like the same week. And that had nothing to do with anybody
Right.
else. There was actually just a string of people breaking in, and it just happened to be that the passenger side door doesn't lock when you hit the lock. And I wasn't thinking about it, so it was open, and they just went in, snatched it.
Yep.
And it was really just a snatch and go because I actually had other tools there, and they didn't grab it because they didn't see it.
Yeah.
So
I was going to think one of the issues that we have is what we do has such a pie in the sky aspect to it because it's very romantic. We're building gypsy wagons, and we will have people come to us. Like, we did a show, and this young woman came and was like, "Oh my God, this is like the most amazing thing in the world. It's something I've always wanted to do." Really? And I need to do this. So we were like, great. You know, we're always looking for people who want to apprentice, learn this skill, do something that's really cool and fun. We try our very best to provide a really fun environment to work in.
No way.
And, you know, and she came, and of course, then you find out over the course of time that there are some issues and so forth. And, you know, eventually you kind of have to quietly let them kind of go away and quit calling them, you know, and it's just, it does make it very difficult because of the romantic aspect of what we're doing.
Well, and it's trade secrets,
Well, there's that too.
our templates.
Yeah, we don't want
know,
anyone knowing how
but-
we cut those, how we do that.
And I must say, we have never, ever been ripped off at all.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Ever. But trust is such an issue.
Right.
And we have to like to work together.
Yeah. We did have one guy show up at the warehouse and was all like, with the camera, remember? He wanted to take pictures. He wanted to
Yeah.
specifically come when we were cutting our ribs because that's a kind of a trade thing, you know, a secret.
Maybe he
This
was
is our secret.
vlogging.
And
That's what I
maybe he was, I don't know. but yeah, it's an issue. So we are always kind of trying to put feelers out. You know, you have a son who doesn't want to go to college or a daughter who doesn't want to go to college, but they want to send them to us. And then getting them to come and do that is an issue. You know,
So how do you vet? And how do you vet? How do you check your people?
potential people.
So if you open an air-conditioned plant shop, I mean, if you
Turns
think of the people who, if you retail is sort of your best option because you're in college or, you want a second job, an indoor plant shop is really appealing.
So you have all kinds of issues. You're just like, you're crying in the corner with your plants going.
Sourcing plants right now is incredibly hard.
I am crying for you. I just got to tell you. No.
That's our challenge.
What do you do to vet?
Oh, well, so it's pretty tough for me. So as far as finding skilled labor, if you're vetting too hard, you just won't find anybody. So when it comes to finding apprentices, I'm just looking for good people. I can teach them what to do. Unfortunately, half the time when I teach them, it turns out they don't want to do that.
Yes.
But yeah, just finding good people. Somebody that just gives you a bad vibe, from my experience, don't hire them,
Right.
So at my last company, I worked for a large lawn maintenance company in town, and I used to do the hiring there. So we do have some input on how we vet in that arena. So it was like a really detailed process. It was a phone screen with like 3 specific questions to pass on to an in-person interview, and then there would be a working interview before a hiring decision was made. So it was like a really slow process to get there.
What do you do to that, Kyle?
Fortunately,
you got how many people do you have?
15 now.
15.
Yeah, it's 15, 17. So fortunately for us, we haven't really had to hire anybody. It's been almost 2 years
Wow.
since we hired somebody. Our staff has been really stable. We talked a little bit about building culture. Our culture is really strong in the restaurant. The employees that we've had, are. There are other stories. We're not here to talk about Leonardo's, but we've done a really good job at providing growth opportunities for our employees over the years. They're making, some of my employees are making double of what they made 3 years ago. By some, I mean almost all of them. Our business has been consistent, so they're constantly, in the restaurant business, as long as you're challenged and you maintain some level of volume, that you're able to stay involved. I'm really transparent in everything we do on the business side of things. I talk to them. I call it the boss stuff that I have to do, the owner stuff that I have to do, and I keep them involved in everything, so they all have a sense of ownership in the restaurant, and they're all really proud. I mean, they work at Leonardo's Millhopper. It's really cool to do what we do, and I'm really proud of my staff, and they do a great job for us. And I call them my kids, and because they're all younger than me by a pretty significant margin. But we have a great relationship with our managers. Are doing great. There's one young man in particular that I'll be making messages about this week. That he was my first hire when I bought the restaurant 3 years ago, and he started out as a line cook, real kind of shy and bashful, kept to himself, and now he's one of the shift managers. He makes almost 3 times of what he made three years ago. I'm super proud of him, and
I think I need to come work over with you.
I think I need to work for him. But I'm really proud of him and all the employees. They've done a great job sticking it out. And yeah, honestly, we haven't had to backfill at all. They're just, but there was.
Do you think your transparency is what led to a lot of that?
I hope so. I tell them everything I'm doing all the time.
It's funny that you brought up the transparency part, because I think that ever since I just kind of started like really laying it out there, just being super transparent with everybody, it's caused me to lose people.
Yep.
Because they had to go off and get new jobs because I was super transparent. I mean, like in the episode with John Spence, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if we're going to have enough money to get to the end of April. And I don't know if we're going to survive beyond that. And what happened? Like, people had to go get new jobs, but then I still held on to a handful, and I'm rebuilding. And that whole transparency thing, I think, is huge.
I think so too.
Because it just shows that you're real. Kyle, you're a human being. Even though you're a business owner, you're a human, and everybody here is human, and that transparency is meaningful.
Yeah, and I think that they know that I'm concerned for each of them individually too.
Right.
So one of the things I say is that And for all of us, one of the things I say a lot is that the difference between having your name at the top of the check and having your name at the bottom of the check is 1 inch and a whole world apart. You have a whole different set of responsibilities when you're the one signing at the bottom. You know, and we don't do that a lot. It's a lot electronic, but it's the image of the thing. When you're the one signing the checks, your set of responsibilities is very different than when you're the one cashing the check. So we have this different set of, you know, things to keep in consideration. So, you know, with my employees, I let them know, here's what's happening with the business. Here's what I'm doing. I'm dealing with these vendors. I'm dealing with that vendors. Here's what's happening today. Here's our sales numbers. You know, this is what my goal is for the week. This is what I expect to do on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know, here's with our general manager. I tell him here's the payroll percentage that I want to have compared to sales. My food costs compared to sales. You know, so everybody knows exactly what I'm expecting of them. And so they take ownership of the business too. So they're involved in this place that's been around for 45 years. It's such a cool responsibility for us to have to take care of this establishment. And they all, I really think that, you know, over the time that I've been there, that they've really taken ownership. They have that same, not the same level, but that same responsibility, that feeling that I have of we need to take care of this place and do the best that we can for our customers to make sure that we keep on providing this nostalgia, this memory that people have of Leonardo's. And that's what's worked out for us.
It's awesome.
It's a pride of place.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's
it
really
really
cool.
is.
Yeah, I think that's a really big thing to be able to bring everybody that works there together. Even just allowing them to have some kind of input on something that you're thinking, and they may be able to say, hey, well, what about this? And it completely changed, you know, exactly what you were going to do, but it was like for the better. And I've definitely had days where I'm like, I think we should do this. And I'm like, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be this way. And the guys are like, well, why don't we just do it this way? And I'm like, nah, I don't think that would be a good idea. And I've had those days, and I've got to hear it all the way back. Well, since the boss man wanted to do it that way, we're getting home at 7 o'clock. Well, it's a good thing he's paying me. So,
Right.
and it all works out. And then I have like one day where I was like, one of my main guys, his name is Marcus. And I was like, today is Marcus Day. Whatever Marcus says goes. So we went out and we had a date.
Marcus just got a $150 bonus for this hour.
I'm trying to tell you, we go out there and like, I think we were done. It was like, I expected it to be like 5 or 6 when we were done. We were done like 2 o'clock. And he was like, see what happens when you listen to Marcus? So like, great. And then he goes to my wife. He's like, see, that's why I'm the employee of the year.
That's funny.
I'm offering profit sharing. We did a smaller version of our Vardo Gypsy wagon, so you can pull it with a full 4-cylinder car, which opens the market up primarily to more women. And what I said to the guys is, Amber and I will put all the money in for all the materials. You guys do the design and you do the labor, and we will share the profit equally after we get reimbursed for materials. So they come in on their off time and they build it, and they let it evolve. And we haven't sold it yet because they haven't finished it yet. But it's a way for them to invest in the business and me invest in them.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got to wrap up in here in just a few minutes. So, like, what I love about these sessions is, you know, we can throw out a challenge and kind of hear everybody's perspective. So, what's like one challenge that somebody's dealing with that you'd really like to kind of get, you know, everybody's perspective on? Does anybody got something?
Millennials.
Okay.
No offense to anyone in the room.
What's the challenge?
That's fair.
I think for us the challenge has been, I kind of touched on it earlier, is the expectation versus the reality. The expectation of this is going to be so cool and I get to do this thing. And the reality being it's going to be hot, it's going to be dirty, you're going to have to bust ass. If it's hot outside, do you really want to be starting work at 11 in the morning? You really don't. You need to start earlier so you can end earlier when it's still kind of cool, that sort of thing. And and just this kind of weird place. And I think the problem we're having is finding people that kind of think beyond that, you know, a little bit. And I think because we're two old ladies, we have a real hard time with that.
I don't think we think like them.
No, we don't.
And that's really, and there's more of them than us.
So what are you doing to set the expectations? Anything?
Well, whips haven't worked.
What I did,
Deprivation chambers, I don't know.
let me say this. I backed out of the warehouse.
Thank you for joining us for episode 160 of the
Anyway,
Yeah. Well,
the old lady backed out and let the warehouse run itself, and they are doing better.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. Is my old ways backed away.
Yeah. She quit strangling them. I just kind of came in and one day and just went, that's it, I'm banning you. You can't come back in the warehouse, because everybody was in such a tizzy. And I think that's why, because we have such a different idea of what that looks like when you're trying to produce something and you have to put so many hours in to produce it and make it happen, and you have a time frame to do it in so that you can make money. You know, you can't just go, oh, someone paid us $30,000 to build this thing and then take a year to build it.
Yeah.
You just it's not a thing. It's not a house they're going to live in.
Right.
It's a recreational item that they're buying with extra funds they have.
So what you are talking about is accountability.
Help us.
The thing that I struggle with the most.
It's challenging.
Yeah, you know, I'll let the group speak.
Help.
Anybody?
Yeah, well, kind of along those lines, something I've definitely learned is my time of as a business owner, entrepreneur, is you have an employee and you're like, I can't seem to make them think like I do, and that's why they're an employee and you're an entrepreneur and a business owner.
Right.
The mindset of an employee versus an entrepreneur is very different. I mean, we are so dedicated to these businesses, you know. It's like I'll work 14 hours a day. Why won't they? Because it's their job. It's not their business.
It's not their life.
So yeah, realizing that the employee mindset is that much different, I think it was a big thing with me.
Sure.
Is setting the expectations lower. I think we just have too high of expectations sometimes.
That's true.
That is
It's
true.
true.
But how low does it go?
How low do you go?
I'm not saying low,
Right.
but not 14 hours a day.
I mean, I don't know if this will help you at all, but one thing that I do very often with my team is I set a big 3 for the day. And I will like grab a piece of paper, literally grab a piece of paper, I fold it in half like this, and I write big 3 at the top, and I list 3 items. No matter what, these 3 items have to be completed before the end of the day. And I will give it to my service team, and they'll get it done. And they usually get it done pretty quick. You know what I find is that if I don't give them that list, those 3 things never get done.
Yeah. It is.
You know, it's like it'll drag on, like it'll never get done. But there's something about a to-do list, and you know, I think that it's difficult because we as leaders want people to self-manage.
Yeah.
We want them to manage themselves, right? It's like, you know what you need to do when you show up to work. Show up and do it.
Yeah.
Like, we wish it were that easy.
Exactly.
But it's not. You literally have to, like, you have opening procedures, right?
Right. Yes, we do.
These are the procedures that you need to do when you first show up to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is, right? And so that's like the mindset, but behind my big 3, because I will look at my day and I'll say, okay, if nothing else gets done today, these are the 3 things that I want done before the end of the day, and I will give that to my team. And sure enough, they get all 3 done every single time I hand it
And
to
3
them.
is not overwhelming, and I understand that. You know, it's funny being a hairdresser and owning hair salons, or owning a hair salon over the years. You know, it's very different because hairdressers know this is what's on my book. this is what I'm doing today. These are the people I'm seeing. So, I didn't have to do a lot of micromanaging in that regard.
Right.
You know who these people are. You know when they're coming in. You know what you have to do. This is a little different because it's easy to get lost in the minutia of what's happening. And, it's easy to get... It's easy to get overwhelmed by all the little steps and everything that has happened to build the wagon, And I'd like to maybe you could edit later. Our average wagon.
No editing. So
our average wagon is not $30,000. By the way, I threw that number out there, but really just
it's $150,000.
Really $170,000.
I just helped you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's less than 20,000.
Thank you. Unless you get a cat run and a litter box.
Yeah, when you start customizing, that price starts ticking up.
That is the truth, though. That is the truth that goes up. But I know I feel like we sound very like, oh, these young people, and I mean we're really not that bad.
No, I think it's just a different time, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I dove into it with John Spence because I talked about the fact that, like people back in the day, you would go and work a job and you would work that job your entire life.
It was a Wednesday.
Like.
Okay, so
And that's just not the case anymore. Like people bounce around and they go to different, they'll do different
there's so many
3 or 4, 5,
opportunities.
6
There's
different
so many
careers, right?
There's so many different things that you can do that take a lot less time and are a lot easier, and you may not necessarily need or want to get like top dollar. You know what I mean? So it's you still have that work-life balance, and the truth is people are wanting to be home and enjoying their kids or their family or fishing, whatever it is that you do, and they're realizing that now it's like, I don't really need all that extra stuff.
So, Amber, that brings up another very important point. I think it's important to know what motivates each person.
Yeah.
Because it's different for everybody.
It is.
For
Absolutely.
one person, it's money. For another person, it's leaving at 4:30 in order to get home to coach the kids' soccer team at 5 o'clock. Right? Like, it's just different for everybody. And it's our responsibility as leaders to know what motivates each individual team member on our team.
I think that's an excellent point.
one of my guys wants to live the van life. So to help him and the business, we took in a remodel of a 1966 Airstream.
Let's go.
Not a restore. It's now, what do you want as a family? And this Airstream's been in the family for 3 generations.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, cool.
so there's a lot.
That's cool.
But I must say, getting back to what you were saying, I remember when we landed on the moon, and a phone was something my grandmother had. And now I'm supervising people who are having 15 conversations at one time on their phone. And they're using
How do they do it?
I can't tell them to put the phone down because the blueprints are on their phone. So for me, it's
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a stretch.
I understand that. Like, I mean, there's times where I see my team members on their phone, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Get off your phone!" I was watching this video about scooter stuff that I needed to know.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, keep doing what you're doing.
Never mind. Now carry on.
Carry on.
Right.
Just posting how great it is to work in the restaurant.
Yeah.
I can't get mad at anybody.
So, anybody else have a challenge that they're dealing with before we wrap this up? Throw anything out there, you guys. Anything at all.
Yeah, the challenge of starting a new business, we had so many sort of different avenues we were going in, and we still do, and sort of figuring out when do you cut this off. That, I mean, it's still doing something, but it's not where our focus is, and that's a challenge, I think, right now.
Is what exactly?
So you have kind of let me think. And if you're selling, so you decided to get rid of one line of scooters because they weren't serving you for whatever
Totally right.
reason.
Yep.
So making those decisions, I think, is a challenge. Like we started doing installs of different types and, all these different things that maybe aren't the core and figuring out how to focus on.
It's funny, Brett. So I talk about that all the time. For us, to translate to our business, is just having a smaller menu Like you go to some of these restaurants, they have like you go through this the menu. That means all their food sucks.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So if you're offering too much stuff, eventually all your stuff is going to suck.
Kyle Cohen, everybody.
Yeah, so you're totally right. You have to focus on what you do and do it as best as you can. Like if you know what you're good at, do those things, to the best of your ability, and then the customers will know that if when I go to Brent's store, I know I'm going to get the highest quality service, highest quality product, because she's not wasting her time on this other stuff that doesn't generate revenue, that doesn't really fit what her business plan is. She just does what she does really well.
So it doesn't all suck.
Yes. Yeah. Because it'll take away, because you'll spend your time and your energy on this thing that doesn't generate returns for you, and you're wasting your time on this other stuff, instead of focusing on what you're really good at and what really drives revenue and profit for you.
It's like pruning a plant.
Yeah.
It is.
There's a dead leaf. There's a dead leaf over there. I mean, that dead leaf's not coming back.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I would say continuously go back to your why. I think what continues to happen as business owners is we start to grow, we start to think about the new opportunities, we start to think about all these things, but we lose why we actually started doing this, right? And I mean, I've even been in that place. Like you're talking about you said dropping a scooter line. We did that. We dropped Vespa, right, which was one of the most well-known scooter brands in the world.
Right.
Like I dropped Vespa this year, and I said, you know what? I'm getting back to the core. The core reason why we started this business was because we wanted to serve students, college students. I started this business as a student who couldn't get to class because the bus was always full. So I was like, as a student, most students, not all, but most students are not spending $5,000 on a scooter.
Right.
So I'm going to eliminate that. And I'm going to, so I just really kind of zeroed in on the core. And I think that happened because I kept saying, okay, why did I originally get back into this business? Why did I get into this business? And now that I'm back into it, now what? Because that was a big piece of it. Like I've kind of been absent. I haven't been the primary operator of the business. I haven't been the primary operator of the business for a couple years, right? And now I'm back on the ground floor. And as soon as I step back on the ground floor, dude, my eyes were opened again. I'm seeing everything through a completely different lens. Back to the lens when I started back in 2004, the early days.
Are you happier?
I will say that I'm happy. I will say that I'm happy. I'm very happy. And a lot of that comes from my faith, because I'm a very faith-based person, and I know that God has a plan, and I believe, completely in that plan, and I look forward to seeing that plan unfold. My passions have shifted, and that was kind of the core, discussion in the John Spence episode, was that my passions have shifted. I've had New Scooters for Less for 17 years. In 2018, I started this podcast with the sole purpose of really building Gainesville, keeping our top 6 talent coming out of the University of Florida here in Gainesville, attracting investors and experienced talent to Gainesville, building as many connections and collaborations within the business community as possible. These were the missions that happened, and I started this podcast on a pure whim. Didn't know what I was doing, and it's grown, and it's grown, and it's grown, and it's been fun to build relationships and meet amazing business owners that are doing incredible things. And now, that's my passion. If I could drop everything I'm doing right now and do this full time, I would. But as John Smith said, I like to have a stepping stone before making that leap, having something pretty solid. And this isn't solid enough yet. I think it will get there. But New Scooters for Less has been the financial driver for me for so long. It's what provides for my family, right? And so I love selling, I love marketing, I love what I'm doing in there, but I know that my life's purpose is not to be the owner of a scooter dealership. So it's just giving it time for God to like allow that transition to happen and to allow it to happen on His time, and I'm completely okay with that, and that's the way I perceive it. But so I'm happy. I'm happy when I get to interact with customers and they come in and I see that they get so excited about getting a new scooter. It's so fulfilling. Like, I love that. The University of Florida has forever been impacted by the team here. You know, like 2004, there were no scooters on campus. Now there's thousands of scooters all over this community.
We've noticed.
Yeah. I'm glad. So you know, so that's what it is, right? Like I'm happy. As an entrepreneur, and maybe you guys can empathize, you become impatient. You know, you want it quicker. You want to move on faster. You know, okay, like I want a podcast full time. I want to do this all the time, every day. Like this would be the dream. It's just not there yet. This is still the side hustle, the thing that is going to impact Gainesville in a completely different way. But I just got to give it the time, you know, and for now, New Scooters for Less is paying the bills, so I will allow it to do so.
All right.
It's a long-winded answer to your question.
Yeah, you got the bonus answer.
So anyway, I don't know if that helped at all, but I continuously go back to my why as to, you know, the reason I even started New Scooters for Less was to help college students and provide for their transportation needs, right? So it was easy to kind of make the decision, okay, you know, New Scooters for Less was Vespa was a great addition to New Scooters for Less for a time period, but now that I'm streamlining things, it makes sense to kind of let that go. So continuously get back to your why, and don't ever, as startups, like I would encourage you to never lose that why, like why you started what you're doing.
And it's not easy. Like you want to do more. Like it's part of our nature to do. Like if one customer asks for a thing, like, all right, I'm going to do that thing.
Yeah.
But you might not get that question again for 8 or 9 months, and so it's not really worth your energy or your time, or it does, like Collin was saying, it doesn't fit what you really do, or it doesn't fit, you know, the service that you're trying to provide. So those are, you know, like you're saying, there are things on our menu that we had before that I've eliminated. And it's because it didn't fit what we do. Like for us, when we bring things to the table,
Don't eliminate the garlic knots.
no, because it's so awesome, right? So like when our servers bring something to the table, it's wow, right? So if you don't get that, I don't want it on the menu anymore. Like, why would I do that? Why would I bring something to your table that doesn't, you know, make you go whoa?
Yeah. Whoa, baby.
So same kind of thing. So if it's a thing that a customer asks for once a year or twice a year, it's not worth your energy to do that thing. You got to stay focused on what you do.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So you guys, I want to go around the room really quick and please tell I have 2 questions for you. Okay. One is, where can our audience connect with you? Where can they get your services? So drop your website, your social media, that kind of stuff. And then also at the same time, say if I could connect with one person, it would be, and put that person's name out there into the world.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Okay. So your social media, website, where can our audience connect with you? Mm-hmm. And then if you could connect with one person, who would it be? Okay.
Forever. He asked me this question too. Yeah. Anytime. There's no limits.
You guys want to start?
Nice.
No.
Okay. Jacob, you want to start?
He's like, dude, no.
I'm still trying to think of that one person.
All right. So where can our audience connect with you?
Yeah, so I usually tell people to Google us. The reason I tell them to do that is every single review on Google is 5 stars. We have nothing less than 5 stars as of today.
Awesome.
So I kind of like people to see that before they call us. Obviously, our number, our website's on there. We have Facebook. I think we have an Instagram. We're not very active with that because like ACs aren't as pretty as flowers or gypsy wagons. Maybe prettier than trash.
Definitely prettier than trash.
But yeah, as far as one person, I mean, somebody who's uncomfortable. Like, if you know, I can't think of one person right on the spot here.
If you're sweating to death in your house, I want to connect with you.
Yeah, if somebody's
Menopausal women.
yeah, I don't know about that, but if somebody.
I know about that.
Is that like a business thing or just like sit down? You can sit down and talk to anyone.
Anyone? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. think we took it like, is this a referral?
No.
Like anyone.
Oh,
You don't understand. Like, Bezos is like a huge fan of our podcast. Like, you want to like
You never know,
connect with
right?
them.
So you can find Plant Stay. We have a brick and mortar. We're open 7 days a week from 10 to 6 and 24 hours online. We ship plants to every state. And you can find us on Instagram, Plant Stay. We do post all our new plants we get in weekly. If I could connect with anyone right now, I'm going to pick Seth Godin.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd sit down and chat with him.
Why? Because the marketing, right?
Because the marketing.
Guy's a marketing genius.
He's a genius. Yeah, he's my spirit animal.
That's awesome.
that is awesome.
Have you read his books?
Yeah.
What's your favorite book?
Purple Cow, I think.
Yeah. Purple Cow's a great book. Have you read that?
Yes.
Actually,
it's so
probably
cool.
Linchpin, which is not one I think people read as much. That one's great too.
Cool.
So yeah,
This
you
is
can
Daniel,
find us
everybody.
on Facebook and Google. A lot of people Google us. Again, the 5-star reviews, they're on
They're
there.
plentiful.
I really like that people are able to go and see other customers that have had great visits from us and are like really delighted to have us come through.
Y'all's heart is gonna break the first time you get a 4-star review.
Yeah.
It's just like an
I've got to tell you a story, man. So like I did this job for this one older woman, and she was like, she sent me pictures of a job. She said, "This is what it is. This is it." So I got there. She added a ton of stuff, and I tried to break it down. I was like, I can't take more than this for this price and stuff. So she was like completely upset. And she ended up adding like a little bit more money, and then we did a little bit more to do it, like what we could. But she really did add like a ton of stuff. So I told my wife, I'm like, yo, there's a bad review coming. Like, it's gonna be horrible. And so she comes out, she calls me, she's like, you won't believe what happened. And I was like, what happened? And she's like, you just got the best review. And I'm like, no, she didn't. She's like, yeah, she did. And like, it was like definitely one. That's like, I really have to be thankful for like the customers I've had. Like, I've really had some great
You guys are
customers.
gonna cry like babies when you get a
I'm
1-star
telling
review.
you, I'm
telling
coming
you
right
now.
here. I'm be like, yo,
Have you got a
we
1-star
need a
review?
4-star review
Cried like a
podcast.
baby.
I've had, Kyle was so sweet. He brought me extra garlic rolls, blah, blah, blah. 3 stars.
What is wrong with you people? What? Seriously. That's
No,
hilarious.
but yeah, I really got a good customer base like here and around town or even the surrounding cities. I mean, it's just been really great. So
Cool. Who do you want to connect with?
Oh, who do I want to connect with? I don't know. Maybe Gary V.
Yeah.
Nice.
Watching his content and
He's a favorite.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
I definitely like that.
Awesome. Gary Vaynerchuk.
Mm-hmm.
Connect with us, please.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Come to us.
I'm on. Okay, you can connect with us on Instagram at Patty Can Gypsy Wagons. It's PATTI. And on Facebook, we are Patty Can Wagons, even though Facebook owns Instagram. Facebook finds us offensive, but Instagram does not. So we like
Facebook
Instagram.
finds you offensive?
Gypsy is an offensive term on Facebook, and
Oh,
it's not an
interesting.
offensive
I
term
thought it
on
was the can.
Instagram.
Interesting.
Oh wow.
That was a contact.
But not on Instagram.
Isn't that weird? I thought it was inconsistent and bizarre, and we do have we
we get fact checkers on that, please?
I know. I just all I know is someone at Facebook was like, "No, that's offensive. Stop it." Oh, okay. We have a website, which is, look, I'm looking at my notes because apparently I don't know what my website is. And here's what's weird. It's not on my card. It's not on my card. It's not my card. Where? I don't see it.
Hold on.
That's the Gmail. Oh. pattycan-gypsywagons.com is where we're at. But you can Google us. If you put Patty Can in, all this stuff's
You're
going to
gonna
come
find
up.
it.
You're going to find it. And we do like visitors. So if somebody once says, I really want to come down and see what you've got and do a little like tour, we'll be like, man, we're going to be there Wednesday. Come down Wednesday between 1 and 3, and we're going to show you what we're doing.
Cool.
And you can check it out.
Is there anybody in the world you want to meet?
Anybody in the world do you want to meet?
Really, at the risk of being corny, if I could sit down and smoke a bowl with anybody. No, really.
Yeah, be corny.
It'd be
Go ahead.
Yes.
Barack Obama.
All right.
I'm sorry, but that's my answer.
That's
Don't
awesome.
be sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I'm down with that as long as Michelle comes because we've already met and we had an incredible connection. She was only 6 inches away from me, and I really could have kissed her.
That energy.
So close.
The energy was amazing. So I'm with you on that one. That was a good answer.
Cool.
I gave a
applaud
cop
that
out answer when I was on
What
last
was
year.
your answer? I don't remember.
I think I said like it was you.
Me?
Yes.
Were you sitting across
I mean,
from
it's
me?
true.
I'm always here for you, baby. I'm always here for you. I'm always here for you.
I have a few. Walter Hagen is one. You know, I've been playing golf since I was 10 years old, and Walter Hagen.
any good?
Yeah, he was a contemporary Babe Ruth in the 20s, but he was like
Oh, not,
he
is
was
he
like
any good? Are you any good?
I could play. I could chase it around a little bit, but in the 20s, like he was in golf what Babe Ruth was in baseball, so Walter Hagen would be one.
Cool.
And then Christopher Hitchens, also the author, is another great. You know, if there was a thing, all-time thing, that would be another one for me.
Cool, man. Hey, dude, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks to all
So
of you
much
guys
fun.
for coming. This was a blast.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing dinner.
Yeah,
Kyle brought
so
pizza
good.
from Leonardo's Millhopper.
Yeah.
They've been an
It's
incredible spot. Show them the
It's
goods.
not. It's
Can you lift it up?
kind of coagulated.
I mean, it's been sitting here for an hour and a half. But, dude, it still looks great, dude. We're going to eat that up. So, no, dude, thank you for being a sponsor of our show.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
for supporting our mission
I'm so
and
glad
everything that we're doing here.
So glad we're able to do it.
It means the world to me. You guys, like I've said it multiple times, like we can't make this happen without our sponsors. They're the ones that actually make it all come a reality, baby. So thank you so much for your support, and thank you to James Leitner, who edits 3 different camera angles to make us all look really good with this beautiful lighting. You're the man. I appreciate you always, dude.
Judges.
Thank you so much, James. And you guys, be sure to support all of the sponsors that make the show possible. Go to whoagnv.com/sponsors. And when you do, make sure you say, I heard you on the WHOA GNV podcast, the podcast bringing you businesses and individuals that make you go,
Whoa!
whoa. We will see you later. Bye.